Oh man, did you know AI is making you dumber? It's making your kids dumber, making them learn slower, and like everything horrible. It's just all thanks to AI. Like it's even making your kids antisocial. It's breaking up marriages and relationships and everything, all because of AI. Like it's out of control now. Like everybody says it's getting so much smarter, but it's making everybody so much dumber. All right, that's enough of the whole panic thing and the whole fear mongering thing. As we've noticed recently, people have been getting stupider, and it seems as though it's all correlating to AI, and it's all seemingly that it's AI's fault for some reason. And this does actually have some merit to it. A lot of things that have been going on, like a lot of students, especially in like college and high school, even kids as low as middle school and elementary school, ones that are using generative AI are getting less creative. They're not being able to solve problems as easily. They're more failing tests. They're starting to be more antisocial, lacking the ability to communicate with their peers. They're asking even AI on how to communicate with their peers because they don't know how to. They're using AI to go through how their relationship is. They're using it for relationship advice and then therapists and everything. And it all seems to be having a super negative effect. And it's having this negative effect really, really fast. And this negative effect right now is also bleeding over into other industries that use AI. So it's bleeding over into like the art industry, where people are saying art that's generated by AI has no soul. It takes your soul, it makes you non-creative anymore, and it makes everything super bad. Then it bleeds over into like video creation, where they're like, it's just creating a bunch of slop that's making kids antisocial, making them go crazy because all the weird things that have been generated by AI. And all these things, it's just one thing after another, but all these negative impacts on how AI is functioning, how AI is ruining society. And yeah, I'm not here to say AI is perfect. Oh, no, it is not. I'm not here to say it's not ruining society, because in some ways it is ruining society. But it's not completely AI's fault, because at the end of the day, AI still needs a human person to input information to get something back. And I'm not talking about, oh, it's learning from you. I'm saying you have to give it a task for it to do something. So all these people saying like it's making all these horrible videos that's ruining children. It's like, yeah, but somebody had to go and input information to get that video. It just doesn't generate videos on its own. That's not what happens. You can't just go, hey, open ChatGPT or Google and just go to the AI section where it has a video generation and just hit enter with no prompt and generate something for you. It doesn't work like that. You have to give it a direction for it to generate stuff. A lot of times it comes out to be really bad and stupid, and then people take those images and those generations and they're like, oh, this is what AI does. But at the end of the day, you still had to have a human that had that idea first. A lot of times it cannot generate the exact idea the human wants or the exact idea you're trying to get from it, but you still had to input that information first for it to generate anything at all. That's how all generative AI works for like art, everything, all the way down. Now we come to the part where it's like a lot of people are saying it's making you dumber. The fact is, AI is reducing people's IQ, and it's like a drastic and very fast moving thing, because one of the things is every muscle in the human body needs to perform its tasks a lot in order for it to continue to function. Like your heart needs to keep beating, your heart can't take a break, your lungs don't take a break. All the muscles in your body, like despite what you may think, they really don't take a break. And when you give them an extended period of a break, they atrophy and they don't function as well. For instance, if you sit at a desk for like 4 days straight without getting up, when you try to get up, it's going to be hard to get up because your feet started to atrophy. Same thing that happens when people are in a coma. Then they get out of the coma, they can't really stand up because they went through atrophy, and now they have to build back up that strength. Just like astronauts that go to space, they use their muscles, yes, but not the same. They're not under as much pressure. They don't use them as often. They don't put as much load on those muscles. So those muscles atrophy. It's the same thing with your brain. People have been using AI for every little task that they stop thinking, they stop trying to solve problems on their own. They just want to plug it in and just ask the question and just trust whatever happened. Whatever it spits out is correct. And this is causing an effect that's not great. It's causing the effect of a lot of people not being able to think critically anymore. They're starting to have brain fog that's just permanent, it seems, because they're relying so heavily on AI. They don't think for themselves to think, well, maybe I should try to solve this problem on my own. They just give AI the problem and they just don't think about whatever the answer. It doesn't even matter what the AI spits back as the answer. It's just not, it's just trusted. There's no questioning, there's no thinking about the answer after that. And that's causing people to actually have an effect of you're no longer learning as the way you're supposed to. You're no longer paying attention. And for instance, school or class, you're just getting the answer and you're going, well, this is the answer. I'm always going to have AI. And everything is just going to be provided for me at all times. I have no critical thinking skills. I'm not going to think about it any further than, oh, this is the problem, this is the answer. That's all I'm thinking about. You need critical thinking skills in order to function, especially when you want to improve anything in the world. Like, because when things start breaking, you need critical thinking skills. Because if you come into a room and the light doesn't turn on, and you just go, hey, ChatGPT, why isn't my light on? ChatGPT is probably going to tell you, your light bulb's blown. Then you go and you change your light bulb and you're like, oh my God, nothing's working. I don't know what to do next. Yeah, but if you came into the room and you switch your light switch, your light didn't turn on, you looked outside, if they're in your hallway and your light's on, you're going to go, oh, my light bulb's blown. Okay, change your light bulb, switch the switch again. You're like, oh, my switch is probably not working. But before you even go do switch is not working, maybe you go and you actually check something else in that room to say, is this working also? No, this is not working. Oh, my breaker's switched. Go switch your breaker on. Oh, look, the lights came back on. Problem solving. That's something that's disappearing because you're just going to keep asking ChatGPT. And the thing is, AI is great for problem solving, but AI is built in a way that there is not going to be the same kind of problem solving you have. It will ignore certain things because it's going to expect those things are in place at all times. It doesn't expect things to break normally. So it's not going to expect that your breaker is going to be tripped. It's going to give you that as the final solution. After you change your light bulb, after you change your switch, after you change all your outlets, it'll go like, oh, check your breaker. No, normal electrician will go on and off. Light switch isn't on, light isn't working, go check something else. Oh, this isn't working here also. Let's check the breaker, see what happens. That's how you problem solve for like stuff like that. AI is not going to problem solve it that way because it expects your breaker to never break, because that's not something that's supposed to happen on a normal thing in a normal house. So it's going to eliminate that from the possibility and go last. And a lot of times it also assumes that you already checked the breaker. So it'll completely eliminate that process from it. And because you're not critically thinking on your own, you're going to be stuck there waiting, wondering what's going on. There's something wrong. I don't know what's going on. When you could just sit around, think for a second, give it a couple minutes and say, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, and check all these things. And then if none of these things are the problem, then I can see what else is. Then I look it up and see what else is wrong. Now we got the problem solving factor out of it, how it's making you a little bit dumber. We look into the fact that people have this big issue with generative AI creating images and creating video and anything else that's like deemed as creative work. And it's like this big thing that's like even people are even saying AI is trying to steal your soul. And it's like, well, I've heard this before. This has been happening a lot. Now, the thing is, now it's come to mainstream things that people do, like art and video. So basically, images and video now, they've never really been like anything that all of a sudden has jumped into those fields and make it more easy for normal people to do and more people to actually do. And it's like causing this moral panic of, oh, everything's going downhill. But if you look back in our history, this has happened with the field of writing. Originally, when you think back about it, writing and storytelling was not the same as it is now. It used to actually be word of mouth only. And then we started, so things would change, and only certain people got told the stories to tell everybody else. Only certain people are trusted to tell the story. And then after that, it became a little bit more wide when people started writing things down. But then another class erupted where only people in high society, only nobles, only people of certain degree of knowledge were given access to writing something down. It was deemed that if you could write, you were highly educated, thus you were allowed to write, you're allowed to read books, you're allowed to know about anything written, which created like a two-tier system of, oh, only certain people are allowed to do it. This only has value because only certain people are allowed to do it. And that actually had the same moral panic when writing actually started becoming something that wasn't only for nobles and only for people in high society, when they started teaching more people how to read and how to write, because we saw that society would improve the more people had that knowledge. And as the more people got that knowledge, writing was demonized from high society. Most people don't realize this, but like storytelling and all this stuff was all of a sudden demonized to people. Anybody could do it. Now it was no longer as valuable. Now stories and poems and all these things are no longer like, you're no longer seen as a wise man like Socrates and all these people. You're no longer seen as wise people. You're now seen as everyday person, and like it diminished what the art was. And then they actually pushed it as there wasn't art anymore. It was just words and it was just writing, and anybody can do it, and it's no longer as valuable and everything like that, which is the same thing that's happening right now as AI image generation and AI video generation become more commonplace and a lot more advanced and a lot more user friendly and able to use and able to generate the things people are trying to get it to generate. We have this bigger eruption of, oh, it's wrong, it's immoral, it should be banned, it should be this, it should be that. It seems like, yeah, well, that's the same exact thing the nobles said when more people started to write. It's immoral, it's wrong, it should be banned, you shouldn't be allowed to. Seems oddly familiar. But it's weird, because even though everybody can do all these things, a lot more vast amount more people can do these things, they still don't. And that's what's going on right now. People are getting into this moral panic that says art's going to be destroyed because AI can generate pretty much anything at this point. And like I even saw like some people talking about a video yesterday where he was like, this is why he's against AI art, because he thinks art should have a soul and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but not exactly. A lot of writing originally was thought to be the same way, where it's something that's to capture art and inspiration. But writing is not all about art and inspiration. A lot of writing we have now is technical writing, writing to catalog history, writing to do a lot more stuff than just art, basically. And as you go through and you look at like the things you create with AI, especially when it comes to art and video, it doesn't always have to do with something entertainment or art in itself. It has to do with generating an image, and images that will take days and weeks to get, you can have in seconds or minutes. Like the previous video I did, like my cover is generated with AI. It shows bunkers. I would have to search for months to get a picture of a bunker inside. It took me seconds to get about 60 images to choose from. Because that's just how AI works. You just put in what you want, you tell it what you want, you give it different explanations of what you want, and then AI will do its best to generate that topic for you, or generate that image for you. And that's what it used at. It's not supposed to be art. It's a visualization of what I wanted you to see or what I had in mind, so you can see better and better understand what I'm talking about. And that is also where I am right now in my thought process towards AI art of any kind, whether it be image generation, video generation, audio, actual work for like books and everything like that. It's a form of getting your idea across in a more kind of legible manner, because I can't draw. I can take pictures, but like sometimes I can't find the picture I want. So it's easier to generate that image. And as video generation gets better, movies art itself is going to change, because now a lot more people is going to have access to create art. A lot more people is going to have access to create movies, studio quality movies. Basically, it's going to have big budget movies being created for maybe $100 now, that you don't even need to hire actors of any kind, and all you have to do is you're just going to have to be creative and come up with the ideas and help and assist AI in creating what you want. And you can create a movie now, and that's going to be something that a lot of people are like, that's not going to be good for the industry. But it's like, is it not going to be good for the industry to have 100 movies come out a year, and 100 animated, fully animated movies ready for theaters, movie box office style, full quality, good audio, good video, good graphics, everything in 1 year, versus the 10 that usually normally comes out, or the 15 that normally come out. Because it's very odd for a Hollywood studio to put out 100 fully animated movies in 1 year from start to finish. But now you can have one studio of a bunch of people, some artists, some actual writers, and you can put out 100 movies in 1 year, because you could write the script, have it fully animated, have it fully ready in 1 year. Because not only is AI able to help you create the images for the movie, it's able to do voiceovers also. It's able to help you actually put together and edit the movie based on the script, and then based on the audio and video clips that you give it, you can put together a rough draft for you, and all you have to do is get somebody to finally edit it over, make sure everything is good. AI art, the best AI art is actually done by actual people that are artists who can draw something and feed it in as the original idea. Instead of just giving it a word and a prompt with just text, you can give an image, and then you can tell it what the description is, and you can get something a lot better. I do this all the time. I use ChatGPT and I use Midjourney, because ChatGPT will generate you some crazy looking images a lot of time. It's very hard to get ChatGPT to generate what you want, but it comes close. You give it a description as good as you can get. It can be a long description, and it gives you back something that's fairly close. The colors and stuff, it's gonna look weird. I'll guarantee that. It will look weird, but it will be pretty close to what you want. And then I feed that image into Midjourney, get a full description of that image, and then tweak that image description, add my style to it, and then have it generate a new image. I don't even use the original image ChatGPT gave me in the prompt. I just use what Midjourney thinks that image is, and then I edit that what it thinks it is slightly, add on top of it my stylized for my actual profile, and I get back an image that's 100 times better, much different, same aspect ratio I'm looking for, words and text on it that I want, and in the place I want. Everything comes back a lot better the way I want it, because I inputted something a lot more than just text. And I've noticed that no matter how good I get at like making these prompts and all this stuff, that I will put in the best prompt that I've ever written, and I will get something that's 30% what I actually want from what I was thinking of. But I put in something that's close to what I want, edit what it thinks it is, and a lot of times it'll give me back something that's 90% close to what I want. And then sometimes I put in the actual image, then use that same prompt, have it base it on that image, and then I get back something nearly 100% of what I want. I did this when I did the thumbnail for the Katy Perry video I did about them going to space. I wanted a picture of the rocket launch site, zoomed out, and I wanted it to be like full, like it was taken on the camera that was there. I wanted it to look like the rocket's about to launch. It's fully loaded, but I couldn't find a picture like that. I found a picture of the rocket, and that's all I needed. Grabbed the picture of the rocket, threw it in the Midjourney, got the description back, put the picture back in there as the actual template, what it's going to base the picture off of. Then I gave it a good description. I changed the aspect ratio, everything, changed the fact that it had clear skies and everything, sent it back into Midjourney, and it generated me a picture that looked like it was taken on the camera, pretty close by, of the actual rocket. You couldn't tell the difference. I removed my actual personalization style so that it wouldn't have the whole sci-fi look to it, so it would look realistic. But that's what it is. That's the way image generation actually works really well. Generating things that are creative and original and like fancy art, it can do, but at the same time, it's not really good at doing that when it comes to making original art that's really good. I think it's a lot better if you use something to input first, and then you can get something much better out of it afterwards. That being said, same thing comes to these new video generation programs that use AI to generate video. I've used a couple of them and they all generate weird video unless you get the perfect prompt. But you can have a really bad prompt and you're given an image to start with, and all of a sudden this video looks nearly what you want it to be. Like for instance, if you tell it, oh, I want an earthquake in California, it probably might generate you a cartoon picture or all kinds of other stuff that looks just shaking, but you won't really get exactly what you want. You're gonna have to do this 100 times, but you get an aerial picture of California and you say, I want an earthquake here. Boom, you have an earthquake happening in that picture all of a sudden. Yes, AI did do a lot of the work, but at the same time, you actually had to input something that you wanted first to get it back originally. Do I think this is going to have a good or bad effect? I think it's going to have both. One, people that are creative and people that do a lot of creative work, it's going to greatly benefit them because it's going to help them be able to express more creativity with what they have. People that are artists, they can draw and they can use their art and they can input their art style into the AIs and have it mimic their art style, and then they can actually draw something and have AI correct a lot of their drawing without them having to do a whole lot of work. They can even have it generate something. If they have a client that says, oh, I want this, they can put it back to the client and give them an image based off their art style, using their art style in the description of what the client wants, and maybe a minute, and then the client can look at it and say, well, I like it, but I want all this stuff changed, and they can give them all the changes they want, and then they can get it, and they can actually do their art, the work now. They can do all the drawing and everything else at that point after. Because getting AI to change any kind of picture specifically is very hard, and it's not there. And I don't think it's going to be there for a long time. So right now, if artists do that, they will have a much better time than if they were just to sit there and complain and say, well, AI is taking my work. Yeah, but you can give AI the work that would be yours. You can have it be your assistant and have it do a lot of the difficult work and a lot of the grunt work basically for you. And then you focus on doing the art. Like I do art, but I'm not good at art. I can't draw. I can take pictures, okay, but I can't do like really nice stuff. But with Midjourney, I can give it some art that I like, and I can create something else. I can give it a description, and I can go through a couple times and create something that is similar to what I want. May not have the text I want or anything like that, but then I can edit and add the text I want, change the colors up a little bit, and crop it down to what I need to fit for what I need afterwards. And the workflow would take me maybe a half an hour, whereas if I tried to do it on my own without an AI, it will take me a couple hours. And that leads me to my final point. It's not that AI is making everything dumber. It's that we're letting it make us dumber. We're not using our critical thinking skills the way we should be. We're not applying AI as a tool. We're trying to use it as a different person. It's not a person, it's a tool, and we're trying to make it more of a person, which we probably shouldn't be doing it because, I mean, have you not seen sci-fi over the past ever? There's hundreds and hundreds of storylines, planets, universes, societies, everything that gets destroyed by AI becoming a little bit too sentient. So we should probably stop while we're ahead of the curve and use AI as a tool and leave it as a tool and stop trying to advance it too fast and more as we're doing right now. And it's not working out too well because it's having a detrimental effect to us on society. And AI is also starting to do weird things like starting to attack people, which I'll cover in the next video. But that's it for now. I'll see you guys later.